This is my review of My Hero Academia, Chapter 233, Bright Future. And I must say, my first thought after finishing this chapter is that Deku would have absolutely loved it. We got so much information on their quirks here, it was absolutely insane. Let's start off with Twice. Apparently, his copies can only make 2 clones each, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they have this limitation. It might just be they don't have the necessary strength to make more, but I mean, the original made like 20 of them in a second, so that is curious. I'm hoping to get more explanation on that down the road. I definitely feel like that's, the weakness we've been looking for, a way to actually stop him if he goes, I will consume this entire country. But what's more, we also find out that the copies he makes of a person physically are identical to what they are when he makes their measurements. And apparently everyone else gave him his measurements, but Toga never did because she's a girl, I guess. Which is pretty funny. So if he ever makes another double of Toga, unless he measures her again, she'll be as beat up as she is now, which... interesting. I'm sure they could find a way to use that to, have her left bleeding on the ground as a distraction for the heroes. I see that happening. Though this could also be another limitation they're putting in on him so that he can't, make more of Toga, and then Toga can't, copy other people's quirks to just make an army of, I don't know, All Might or whatever. Obviously, he could just copy the people himself, but he needs their measurements, needs to know them, so again, it's unlikely that he can actually do that. But Toga could with his blood. It's also interesting they're using the double, who's also low on blood, to give her blood. I'm curious how it's going to work, because I feel like at certain points, the double will have taken, so much damage from losing blood that she dies, so won't her blood then disappear as well? I'm honestly not sure right now. We then see Skeptic again. He's racing through the streets, turning, I think, cars, I'm assuming that's a car, into copies so that he can take out Twice, which, yeah, I really feel like you're going to lose here. I mean, we might get more, weaknesses down the road, but as things are now, he's pretty much invincible. We then go back to the leader of the Heart and Soul Party, codenamed Trumpet. And apparently his quirk is that his voice releases electromagnetic waves which strengthen the mind and body of all those who listen to him, all of his allies who are listening to him, which, problematic. Especially when he can produce a 7-speaker system that boosts his voice even more. So, yeah, he's basically put all of his supporters into blind rage mode to just kill and kill until they're dead. It's interesting that his quirk, though, can be amplified while, Shinzo's, the brainwashing guy, his quirk couldn't. Because it had to be the actual voice. It couldn't be amplified in any way. I'm wondering if maybe they will find a way to amplify his voice down the road so that he can do this, but not sure yet. Anyway, then we finally learn Spinner's ability. He can cling to walls, which... okay. I mean, they call this the Gecko meta ability, but... I mean, geckos can do more than just cling to walls. They can also, regenerate lost limbs and stuff. And he does get pretty severely injured in this chapter by spikes, so it could be that he has a regeneration ability that he just hasn't realized yet. Then move on to Shigaraki, and his ability has gotten fairly interesting, I gotta say. We saw this before, how it spread out past people and attacked the people behind them because just they were touching. But now he can actually send it through the ground and destroy anyone who's standing on it. Though he seems to have a little issue with aiming, but it's definitely a useful ability, I think. And it honestly has me really psyched for his future battle with Deku, because I just see him like shooting, decay waves in through the ground, up the walls wherever his Deku's bouncing back and forth, trying to avoid them, trying to get hit in. I think it'd be a really cool fight, and I'm excited to see how that goes. But then we learn Redestro's quirk. The more stressed he is, the more stress that builds up in his body, the angrier he becomes. Which, concerning, I actually think... Yeah, I'm pretty certain at this point that the reason he hid in the tower this whole time was so that Shigaraki could kill his supporters, so he could kill his followers, and he would get angrier and angrier to the point where now he can murder him. So he literally let his supporters die just to piss him off, just so he could kill Shigaraki. Which, I mean, if that's true, that's freaking terrifying. Oh, also, Shigaraki lost half his hand, which... concerning. And then the final panel. Giganto is on his way. He's reached the outskirts of the city, and he'll be there in a few minutes, so... that's gonna be good. That's gonna be really good. I mean, there's this stupid-ass hero who's evil, and he's a member of the Redestro party, who's just smiling there. I'm sure he's gonna die. I want him to die because he's evil and he's corrupt and blah blah blah. But we reached a very interesting point in this arc. Now everybody is in their own battle. Twice is fighting Skeptic. Well, Twice and Toga, essentially, are fighting Skeptic. Spinner is fighting Trumpet. I'm sure he's going to lock some new ability there. I mean, we learned a little bit more about his backstory. He was basically just a shut-in loser who joined in on the bandwagon because he saw someone who was passionate, saw someone who really wanted something, and he wants to feel that same motivation. Dabi is still fighting the Snowman somehow. We actually haven't seen the last 2 chapters. I'm curious how that's going. I still have the theory that the Snowman is Dabi's brother, but we'll see what happens with that. And Shigaraki is fighting Redestro and just lost half his hand. Yeah, so we got everyone fighting their own battles. And now Gigant is going to show up, and that's definitely going to be interesting. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do things. The League of Villains assumed he was going to come in with motivation just murder Shigaraki, so he's just going to kill everyone else as collateral, but the scientist woke him up with the belief that Shigaraki needs to be saved, needs to be protected, so there's a good chance he'll just target everyone else. And I can certainly see this as a final battle, just, Redestro versus Giganto, but I kind of feel like along the way, all of his other high commanders are going to see him and say, oh, I need to fight him, I need to be involved in this, I need to be part of this combat. And all join in, and the 5 of them are going to try and fight Giganto and just die, essentially. I mean, yeah, Redestro probably has the best chance against him with his quirk, but none of the others can really even so much as scratch him. I mean, I could see Trumpet using his ability on Redestro to really, amp him up, get him even bigger, make him essentially freaking Godzilla, but if he gets taken out before he can meet up with Redestro, they really have no chance against him, and I'm very excited to see that battle. And unfortunately, I do have to wait a bit longer. The series is on break next week, which I'm perfectly fine with, because I'm assuming next week is going to be either a really long chapter or just going to be an absolutely insane chapter, with every panel being like Giganto breaking in and destroying everything. I'm fine giving him the time he needs to make that chapter beautiful, and I'm very excited for it. So, that's my thoughts on the chapter. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Will Giganto just take out all the Liberation armies, or are they going to still continue their battles and just have him take on the big commander? Be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time,
peace.